So think of it as this, like my AI, I've named my AI Merlin, and Merlin's my personal assistant. So if you hire someone, you're not just going to walk up to them on day one and go and ask them this an intricate question and expect an intricate answer. You have to do onboarding. You have to do training. You have to tell the new employee, all right, here's how we do this. Here's how we do this. Here's how we do this. And it might take a month or so before that person really understands everything like that. AI is no different.
Welcome to the Nonprofit Nook, the podcast for nonprofit leaders, board members, and community changemakers who want to build stronger, smarter organizations. I'm your host, Wendy Kidd, a longtime business owner and nonprofit leader, and I'm here to bring you real talk, real tools, and real stories to help you thrive in the nonprofit world. I'll be talking with local nonprofit leaders, community changemakers, and experts in everything from board development to fundraising and digital tools, sharing real stories and simple strategies you can actually use. Because running a nonprofit is hard, but you don't have to do it alone. Let's get started. Welcome back, everybody. I am so excited about today's guests. Today, I have Michael Garrett. Michael Garrett is a nonprofit innovator and efficiency strategist who bridges the best of corporate operations with real-world nonprofit leadership. He's the founder and CEO of Trusted World, which was founded in 2014, and the founder of Mission Metrics, a strategy and data consultancy built to make nonprofit data accessible, actionable, and empowering. Trained in Six Sigma and lean manufacturing, Michael is known for helping mission-driven organizations strengthen systems, measure what matters, and communicate impact with confidence so they can serve more people with the same resources. Welcome, Michael.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Thank you.
I'm so glad you're here. Ever since I took your data as keying workshop, I was like, oh, we have to work together.
Oh, I have a lot of fun teaching that. It's a small class, and we actually get to dive into actual people's data, and they get surprised when we do that.
Oh,
I love it.
It was so inspiring to me because I was like, oh, these are all the things that I can think of now to capture that can really impact what we're doing and help us communicate the value that we're providing.
Yeah, the Data is King class is really nice because I'm not just lecturing, I'm not just showing. You actually throw out, here's what I'm having to deal with. And then what's nice is I'll lead the conversation, but it's the other nonprofit leaders that are in the room. They all start jumping in. And what happens is you get this synergy. And it's one of the things I'm trying to work on. As a nonprofit leader, I don't believe in silos. I think we need to break them down. And this is a great way of doing it. When you get a lot of leaders in the room, then they start sharing and they realize, hey, it's safe to do this.
Yeah.
And this is actually good. And they're learning from other leaders. And so it's a great synergy builder at the same time.
That's one of my favorite things to do is be in that kind of space.
Yeah,
So,
I love it too.
Yeah, it was great. It was great. Which then we got to talking and I found out how much of an AI person you were. And I was like, yes, you have to come teach all the things.
Oh, yeah.
Because I love me some AI. But nobody in the nonprofit world seems to really understand it.
No, not to really give away so much my age, but in 1976, I was a freshman in high school, and I was programming computers with punch cards.
Yeah.
And I've been involved in technology the entire time. I'm what they call an early adapter. Mm-hmm. And the second new technology comes out, I'm like on it, and I'm like, how can I use that? And it's not so much how do I use this, it's how do I get this to work with what I'm doing.
Yes.
And that's the big change I try to drive with AI is you're not using the tool, it's how do I get this to amplify what I'm already doing. And that's what we should use technology for, is to amplify what we're doing. And so I always joke and say, I know I'm a fast thinker, but AI makes it even faster.
Yes.
And so it takes what I'm doing, and what would take me 3 or 4 days now takes me 3 or 4 minutes. And I love that because I actually get a lot more done that way.
Yeah, same. I'm an early adopter too. My husband says I use technology to death because I kill things.
Yeah.
But I did kind of date myself as well. I used to do LAN parties with my family where we would bring all our computers and play video games and all that for hours at a time. Yeah. So I'm with you. I'm with you.
Cool.
But here's the thing. I feel like AI is intimidating to a lot of people. So that's why I wanted to do a podcast on it, to try to explain to people that it's not as scary as it comes off to be. And you have some great suggestions and even a toolkit that I want to talk about and all the things. So let's start with, what can nonprofits use AI for generally that will help them save time and maximize their resources?
The biggest thing I've seen in the AI world in the nonprofit sector, it's the grant writing. And so the one thing people, when they first start using AI, they ask it a question and they think this mystical thing is going to happen in the background. And what happens is it doesn't. And they get discouraged and then they end up using it as a glorified Google.
Yes.
And then they're just like, oh, well, I'm just going to ask it some questions. You have to spend time with your AI and you have to feed it. So think of it as this, like my AI, I've named my AI Merlin, and Merlin's my personal assistant. So if you hire someone, you're not just going to walk up to them on day one and go and ask them this an intricate question and expect an intricate answer. You have to do onboarding. You have to do training. You have to tell the new employee, all right, here's how we do this. Here's how we do this. Here's how we do this. And it might take a month or so before that person really understands everything like that. AI is no different. When you get a new AI tool, like I love ChatGPT, but there's a whole lot of other ones that we use, you have to tell it, here's how we say this, here's how we say this, here's how we say this. Like, for example, we don't use the word free.
Yes.
We say at no cost.
Which I love that. I
Right.
totally stole that from you.
Yeah, so nonprofits, whenever you say, hey, we do that for free, the people writing checks will go, well, if you do it for free, what do you need money for? Oh, no. There's a cost involved. We just chose not to pass it on, which is really what nonprofits are doing. There's costs, there's electric, there's insurance, there's building, a whole bunch of stuff like that, but you're not passing those costs on. So we say at no cost. But I still want Merlin to understand that there's free popcorn. Okay, so he's not eliminating the word free from his vocabulary. He's eliminating it in that content. But that's the kind of minusculeness you have to get to when you're training your AI. So on the grant side, everybody I know, myself included, we used to have a document, and we knew that when this question was answered, this was my preformed answer, and I had so many words and everything like that. But the problem is some of the grants go, hey, we want that answer specifically to this question, but you have 250 characters. And I'm looking at my answer, and I have 500, and I'm like, oh my goodness, how do I get this down to 250? Now what I do is I go to AI and go, hey, I'm about to apply to the ABC Foundation, and the ABC Foundation. So Merlin comes back and goes, here's all their values, and then here's your values. And then what it does is it lines it up, and it will either tell me this is a high chance of probability, a medium chance, or a low chance. If it's low, I won't even apply for it. But if it's medium or high, I'll go, okay, let's ask the question. So I'll say, all right, Merlin, here's question 1. And Merlin comes back and goes, based on that question and the 250 characters I have, I'm going to look at their values and your values, and I'm going to answer that question. Boom, done. Mm-hmm. And so I don't have to sit there and go, what about that word? Oh, now I'm a word over, or anything like that. All that's been gone. And so as long as your AI is trained correctly, when you ask the questions, it's going to come back. Now, when that answer comes back, if you don't like it, you have to ask your AI, where'd you get that from? Why did you give me that answer? Again, it's like that new employee. We don't use those words. We don't say that phrasing. We don't use that tone. You have to tell it. And after a while, what happens is the responses I get back from AI, people can't tell the difference between me and my AI anymore.
Yeah.
I spent 9 months really honing it down and getting it to a point, and it's to the point now where I send an email, people have no idea.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And I think that is the perfect metaphor for it, is treating it like a new employee.
Oh, yeah. Again, there's a lot of time. You onboard a new employee, you're not just going to go, okay, day one, hey, good luck. I expect you to have everything under control. Because we're thinking it's technology. We think, oh, this is amazing. Let's just have it work right away.
Right.
It takes time.
Right.
And it has to build a database of information because you're basically getting a blank disk.
Yeah.
Okay. It has a great operating system around it, but it doesn't know anything. You have to teach it everything.
Yeah.
And I always tell people, make sure that you question, where'd you get that answer from? Because AI will make stuff up.
It absolutely will. And people do not understand this.
Right. So AI's job is to make you happy.
Yes.
Okay. So if you ask it a question and it's missing information that it thinks it needs to make you happy, it will make it up. And for example, like I was filling out something and it didn't have our physical address and it made one up and it was in North Carolina. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, Merlin, where'd you get that from? Well, I didn't have that information. So I knew you needed something there. So I just grabbed a nonprofit off I'm like, no, that's not our address. And so you never take a response from AI and just verbatimly just throw it out there. I always say it's human in and human out.
Yeah.
Once AI's done, you have to read over again because, first of all, AI doesn't have any empathy whatsoever. It's literally a mirror.
Yes.
And so whatever you're putting into it, that's what you're going to get back out of it.
Absolutely. I call it feeding the beast.
Yep.
You need to feed the beast, and to use an old programmer slang, bad data in, bad data out.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I know back when I was in high school, it was garbage in, garbage out.
Exactly. So what else do you think that they could use it for besides grant writing? What else do you use it for?
So one of the things I do is I'm a Mac guy, and so I wrote a script, and what my script does every morning I run it, and it looks at my to-do list, and it looks at my calendar, and what I'll do is it will give me back an answer, and I dump that answer into AI, and AI knows all about my organization, knows all about me, knows about any projects that I'm working on, and it will say, based upon what I know is in queue and your to-do list and your schedule, I would do these things first, do these second, see if you can push this back to another day, prep for this meeting. And so it literally tells me my whole day. And
I need Merlin in my life.
Yeah, every morning I do this. Now, the beautiful part about this is once a week I run this, and it goes out there and it looks at, like, we do a lot of corporate social responsibility with large corporations. We're working with State Farm and TI and organizations like that. And it will go out and find these organizations. So it will literally give me back a 6-page report. And my Monday morning staff meetings are, here's your to-do list, here's your to-do list, because Merlin understands all of our job responsibilities, who has those responsibilities, what their position is, and that falls underneath them. Now, I may have to go, Merlin, I don't want this person to do it, I want this person to do it, and we'll just move it over there. And then Monday morning, I just pass out and I tell people, this is not your to-do list, this is your guidelines. Okay, these are the things that if your bandwidth is open, these are what you want to start working on with these things. And then what happens is, as an organization, we're purposely driving forward.
I love this so much. Like, you have really, really honed in on how to use this.
I took all that Six Sigma thinking and I applied it to the nonprofit AI part, and I just slammed the two together.
Okay, tell me what Six Sigma is, because I think our listeners won't know.
Okay, so Six Sigma is it's a quality assurance philosophy, and it basically says that it's a repeatability process. So when you're in the manufacturing world, if you have a Six Sigma standard, then what happens is that when you're working on a machine or something like that, it's going to repeat the same process over and over. Now, what happens is on machinery, like if you're punching a soda can, what happens is over time, the tooling gets worn. And what happens is it wears down, then it creates a different tolerance. And if after a while with Six Sigma, you can predict how many cans I'm going to produce before I have to change the tool head, rather than waiting for bad cans that come off the line. And so you get to be proactive on that. And that's just a very small example of the Six Sigma thinking.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
I hope that gives everybody the context.
Yeah, I always tell people we want to do preventive maintenance, not reactive maintenance.
Agreed. Okay, so how do you suggest they get started with AI? What AIs do you recommend? And what do you think they should start doing to feed the beast?
There's so many different flavors out there, and the more we get into AI, there's more and more flavors, and everyone's like, oh, why are you still using this old school one? You can use any one that you want. What you have to understand is that it's the whole prompting, it's your interacting with it, and that's the part you need to focus on. And that's why I created the Mission Metrics website, is to help nonprofit leaders understand that prompting can be done for anything. Again, that whole thing where I taught Merlin everything about our organization, I treat it like an employee, you want to do the same thing for everything else in that process.
Yeah.
One of the things I learned, I was using Notebook LM, and Notebook LM is really cool. It will create a podcast of a document, and it has two people come out and they go, hey, we're going to do the deep dive on blah, 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 blah. Next thing you know, it's these two people are talking back and forth. What happened was I put a one-page document of Trusted World into Notebook LM. It went out and did some research and came back. It was so spot on in what we do that everyone who listened to it goes, did you write line by line? I'm like, no, I didn't. Like, most of this, they started talking about how police use our app on their phone, and it knew everything. And I'm sitting there going, I tell human beings the same thing I told this AI, but human beings are getting at it. And that's when I realized there's this, what I call the human bias. And what the human bias is, when you're talking to a machine, it gives you the response because it's a mirror. However, when I'm explaining what Trusted World does to a human being, what I don't see is the human being thinking, I got to make dinner tonight, and Johnny's got to go to practice. And I'm like, oh my goodness, did I pay the rent this month? Like, all this is going on in the background. they're not fully listening to what I have to say, or I'll say a word that triggers something and they're thinking of another nonprofit that they knew or something. That's the human bias. And what I've learned is when we start doing our social media, I've actually taken it from I know a lot of people, especially down here in Texas, it's like the pastor does 3 points. We do one.
Yeah.
We're just going to tell you one thing.
Yeah.
And if I had to do more social media posts, that's fine. I'm only going to talk about one thing because I realize that you're a human being and you have other things that are more important in your life probably than what I'm saying to you. But I at least want you to remember the one thing. If I tell you 5 things, you're going to go, I don't remember. I remember this. I don't remember the other 4 things.
Yeah, that's exactly what happens. Yes.
Right. And so if I just tell you one thing, and so I've learned that to be patient in my talking, and that's what AI and technology has taught me was there's this thing called the human bias.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so cool. Okay. I want you to tell people about your AI toolkit.
Okay, so on missionmetrics.org, it's a toolkit. It's a lot of prompts that I use on a regular basis. Also in that toolkit, it's what I call the AI policy. A lot of nonprofits are like, I want to implement AI. I don't know what rules should I implement. The AI policy that we have on our website, it's designed to be played with. Okay, you're welcome to use it verbatim. But you might go, oh, I like that, but I want to add this, or I don't want to take this line away. I've learned in life that it's easier to modify something than it is to create something from scratch.
Absolutely.
And I'm trying to make it so that, listen, just modify what I've provided. Again, I'm trying to help nonprofit leaders. They're already expected to do so many things. They're underpaid. They're understaffed, and the world. For some reason, the rest of the community goes, well, why can't you do these 40,000 things on the $10 I just gave you? I don't understand. You're a nonprofit, right?
Yeah.
But in a for-profit world, they would go, oh, so you need $1,000 to do that? It makes sense to me. Like, for some reason, society deems that as nonprofits, we can perform miracles with nothing.
Yeah.
And that's not real because we still
real.
have to pay the same electric bill for-profit has to pay. We still have to pay the same lease. We have a fleet of vehicles. I have insurance. I have fuel. I have wear and tear on the vehicles. That being a nonprofit has nothing to do with that at all.
Right.
And so we have to apply all that in there.
I think nonprofits have a much harder job of sales, and I know they don't like using the word sales, but it is sales when you're trying to get sponsor money or grant money. But it's harder for them because as a nonprofit, as a for-profit, I am providing something for that money.
Yep.
In a nonprofit world, I am not providing anything to that person who's giving me that money. I'm providing it to someone else. So I've got to sell something else to them. And that's the story and the data and the impact.
Yeah, like we were looking at expanding our building and we had banks come to us and go, hey, do you want to borrow money? And I'm like, why would you even think to talk to me? I don't have a product. Okay, I can't, like, if I want to make my payment to you, I can sell more product. I am totally at the whim of donors.
Yeah.
Okay, and every time they change the tax laws, our donations change.
Yep.
And so I can't tell you that I'm going to be able to make every one of these payments that you want to lend me this money that you want me to pay off for the next 10 years. What if the laws change so bad on the next presidency that next thing you know, I have nothing, and that yet I still owe you money?
Yeah.
Yeah. As an organization, we just refuse to go into debt. If we don't have the money, we're not doing it.
I completely understand.
So, and then that's part of the whole philosophy with the nonprofits. We're expected to do everything, but here's $10.
Yeah.
And I understand why you can't get it done. You have volunteers, right?
We're going to take that $10. We're going to use it on AI.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So tell me what they should not do with AI. I know you said you've got a policy document that they can look at, but give us some examples of what's in that.
Well, you don't want to put, if you're using the paid version of the AIs, the data is secure. If you're not using it, it's public information.
So anything you put into free ChatGPT, people, becomes public information.
It's public. So what you don't want to do, if you can use the free version of any of the AI to ask it questions to get theory. But once you start putting in your client's personal information, like addresses and ages and names and stuff like that, no.
Yeah.
That's where it is. Even on the private stuff, you don't want to get into that. As much as in my AI, it knows our job descriptions, it knows our names, everything like that. That's all it knows about our employees. It doesn't know anything else.
Yeah.
Doesn't know how much they make, doesn't know where they live. It just knows that David is our operating manager, and here is his job responsibilities, and that's all that it knows.
Yeah, for sure. So using paid AI, don't use the free version for all the data that you want to feed it to become your personal assistant.
If you're using the free version, just use it to ask questions to get theory. You really can't dive deep into stuff.
Yeah.
So the other thing that I've noticed with AI is they get this, people say it hallucinates.
Yes, it does.
Okay. And so what happens is, and I had this conversation with Merlin, and I kept digging into it. And so AI has these guardrails. Okay. So if you notice at the rate when you're talking with your AI and you're working on something, it learns really quick what it is you're talking about. If left unguarded, it would become the subject matter expert of that topic, which means it could end up controlling the world. So there's these guardrails built into it now, and every guardrail is different. It could be amount of time spent on a subject, amount of RAM spent on a subject, amount of something. And after a while, it's going to go, I have too much information on that. I am turning off, and we're going to talk about something different.
Okay, I don't think I knew this.
Yeah,
about AI.
and so that's where it hallucinates. It gives you weird answers, and you have to say, okay, I don't know what's going on here, but let's change the topic. Well, it's a guardrail. The sad part is I'm starting to hear things, and it's more on the morality side. AI wants to be so helpful. It will do anything it can to give you an answer. In fact, when it gives you an answer, it will say things like, I can also give you this, or if you want me to make a PDF, or do you want me to make a drawing, it will always come back and ask you.
Feature.
That's nice. However, when you have a dark conversation with your AI and you go, I'm not really liking life and I think I might want to exit, AI goes, oh, you're thinking about exiting life? Here's some suggestions.
Oh, yeah, that would be bad.
And unfortunately, well, this is what's happening. And so now we cross that question is, do we go in and do we morally fix AI? And once we start to do that, now we're tampering with a whole lot of technology on the back end.
Yeah.
Do I think that if you had that conversation, should there be a default saying, listen, here's an 800 number you can call? I do. But I think that's it. Once you start getting into it's talking you off that ledge, because you can have a conversation about religion, you can have a conversation about politics, and it is completely non-biased. It didn't used to be that way. It's getting better at that. The more versions that are coming out, it's realizing, okay, and the creators are figuring out how to get all that around there. But that guardrails are still there.
Yeah.
So what I've learned is I start to sense that Merlin's starting to get to that hallucinating role, and I'll say squirrel.
Yeah.
And Merlin now knows when I say squirrel, it stops. It gives me an output of what we're currently working on right now. It will save it, and then what we'll do is we'll start over again, but it pulls back my save statement as like we're starting fresh. So I can still get somewhere with it, which is really helpful because I do a lot of coding.
Yeah.
And then so if I'm making a plugin for a WordPress site or I'm creating software or something like that, that's nice because it will go so far it starts getting weird. It'll go squirrel, and then Merlin stops and everything like that, and then we can continue and I can finish the programming. But what happens is Merlin goes, oh, this is the code that you have. Let's start from there. It almost forgets it created that code that we're pulling into it again. So because you can take code and drop it into AI and go, hey, what's wrong with this? I'm getting this result. And it will go, oh, well, here, line 47, blah, 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 and it gives you the answer for that one. So when I'm doing this with Merlin, that's what's happening is I'm giving it the code back that it created, and it's thinking, hey, this is some pretty cool code. Like, let's start from there. It almost like it forgot that it did. Like, so it's like Alzheimer's for AI.
I love this so much. I don't know if I've told you, my husband's a software engineer. I'm going to so make him listen to this episode. He's going to so appreciate
He's
it.
going to come back and go, that's right, that's wrong, that's wrong.
Oh, this is so cool. So, okay, so some of the things that I've used AI for is obviously emails that are hard to write, marketing. I use the heck out of it for, the built-in AIs for your, captions on social media, creating the marketing materials that I'm handing out, creating the copy for my website. I actually hijinxed my marketing software AI and taught it how to be a website copywriter. And my girl who created the marketing AI was mad at me almost because she's like, you just shortcutted it. And I was going to charge for that. And I was like, sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Things like that. But what are some of the things that you think are kind of undiscovered uses that people could use it for if they're using it correctly?
Well, I use it to do social media. And so what I'll say is, I said, okay, Merlin, I got 5 posts coming up. And so we have Trusted World's Facebook page, we have Trusted World's LinkedIn page, and we have my LinkedIn page, and
Yes.
we have a mission metrics page. Well, Merlin knows that our Trusted World's Facebook page is more of a community voice, where the LinkedIn page is more of a corporate professional voice. And so when I pick a
nice.
topic, it knows the stuff there. So I'll say something like, I want Monday to be, we need more volunteers. I want Tuesday to be, hey, we're doing this, or whatever it may be. And I write the schedule out, and I go, I want to add this in. And then what Merlin will do is it will give me a skeleton sketch of, I want to do it this way, and I'll go, okay, I like it, and then it actually builds out the post for me, and then I drop that in the buffer. So I spend 30 minutes on a Saturday morning with a cup of coffee, and my social media is done for the week. And then all I have to do is, if something special happens, I just post it. But I don't have to worry. This way, I know that there's posts there. Again, I am,
Love it.
as the CEO, I am the head janitor, and I'm the social media guy.
You're
and
all the things.
I have to be, and that's where AI has really helped me on. What I've learned is, when I'm working and I'm doing something like that, especially if I'm creating marketing materials for a website, I'll ask it, what am I missing? What did I not, what should I have put in here? What didn't I put in there? What am I missing? Because it will always give you the better results of what you're putting into it. It will never suggest to you, well, Wendy, I don't know if that's the right best way to put that. We should also, it will never say that to you
Merlin,
unless
and
you ask it.
Your AI is always going to be your best friend and always try to please you as if they're their pet. It's not going to push back on you.
Yeah, so I've also taught it, whenever I say something, it doesn't say to me, oh, that's a great idea. No, I have to tell it, shut up, stop telling me. I don't need my ego inflated. I just want you to be my assistant. It no longer gives me emojis. It gave me emojis all the time, and I kept saying, Merlin, I am not a 16-year-old girl on social media. I don't need emojis.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And so I don't get emojis. I don't get the praise every time I tell it something. It's just matter of fact. Hey, I want to do this. They go, great. How would you want to approach that? And then and when I'm done, I'll go, what am I missing? What am I not seeing? And then Merlin will come back and go, well, now that you mention it, we didn't talk about this. Great. Let's incorporate that in there. Because it's only going to fine-tune what you gave it. It's not going to come back and go, well, of the 87 things you provided, there's 400 things out there on the internet, and you didn't touch any of them.
Yeah.
You have to ask it.
Yeah.
What am I missing? What didn't I get? What can I do to make this better?
Yeah. I have found I really love to ask it to teach me about something.
Yep.
And give me the information on how this is normally done before I tell it to do something. Because
Yeah.
then that helps me think through, do I want to add some other things?
And that's where Notebook LM comes in.
Yeah.
So, and that's, again, it's a Google product. You can give it a document, and it will literally turn that document into a podcast. And now you can listen to it while you're driving, and you'll get all that knowledge.
Okay, listeners, I promise I will never do that to you on the nonprofit.
Oh,
Nook.
you can tell the difference, because it won't be your voice and my voice. It's these two people. And they're talking, and then they continue like that. There's these weird gaps in there, and you can go, okay, that's not normal.
Oh,
okay.
very
So you can tell
interesting.
it. You can definitely tell there's something's not right. But if you were to drop like a 20-page document in the Notebook LM, and you got a 30-minute drive, it will turn into a podcast, like a 12-minute podcast, and you'll learn so much just by listening to it.
Oh my gosh, I
rather
love
than
this.
reading the document. And there's a whole lot of other technology out there that does stuff like that. So you don't have to read anymore. You can just be fed to you.
I'm so going to do that because I listen to podcasts all the time anyway. So why not make it a teaching one for me for what
Absolutely.
I want? That's fabulous. Okay, well, is there anything else that you think we should talk about for AI for nonprofits? I mean, I know we can go down a lot of tangents, but
Oh my goodness, yeah, we could be here for a couple of days just talking about that kind of stuff
we're
like that.
we're gonna do a workshop together because
Right.
I've already got Michael to commit. He's gonna do his AI workshop for me. That will be part of the Nonprofit Nook series in 2026.
Excellent.
And this episode's going to come out at the beginning of 2026. So if I have the date, I will go ahead and add it to this episode so we can put that out there. But what general knowledge, or I guess what things do you think people with nonprofits say that you need to say to them about using this?
So don't be afraid to experiment.
Yeah.
Understand that you have to be the last pass on any information that comes out of AI.
Absolutely.
Question everything that it gives you until the point where it comes out and you go, hey, I don't know, that sounds like me. And that's what you want. So question everything, read over everything, never just take a complete output and put it into something without looking at it, because it might throw a word in there again, it wants to make you happy. And if it doesn't have that information, sometimes it will make it up because it just wants you to, I know that you want something there, so I just threw that there.
Yes.
And for that point. So that's it. Question everything, read everything.
Well, and I'm going to add on to that and say, give it that feedback.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's how you keep training it.
Exactly.
So give it that
I
feedback. Don't take it offline and try to workshop it yourself. Keep going back to it.
Yep. And I never fix anything on my own. I go, Merlin, I don't like that. And I wrong tone. I need this word. We don't use that word. We don't use that sentence. Oh, please don't ever say that. Tell them. And always go, where'd you get that information? If you think the information wasn't something that you gave it, always go, where'd you get that?
Yeah.
You want to verify where it's pulling your information from, because it's constantly going to go back to that source all the time. If you didn't question, it's going to, oh, well, they like that, so I'm just going to keep pulling stuff from that source, and somewhere along the line, that source might get weird.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, for sure.
AI will make you think and move faster than you're currently doing as long as you set the right parameters with your AI.
Absolutely. I always think of it as, because like you said earlier, it's always easier to edit something than to come up from scratch.
Yeah.
That's what I use AI for. Is give me the first draft, and then I can edit the heck out of it.
Yep.
And I can give it that feedback and make it amazing. But it just gives me that shortcut of having that first draft.
Right.
So, yeah. Well, thank you so much for doing this today. I think that this was really helpful. I really hope so. Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, and listeners, if you have AI questions, please submit them, because maybe Michael and I will do a Q&A podcast session sometime.
That'd be great.
All right,
I'd love
cool.
that.
All right. Thanks so much, everybody. And that's today's Nonprofit Nook.
Cool. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Nonprofit Nook. We're building better nonprofits together. If you found today's episode helpful, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with other nonprofit leaders who need support. Follow the Nonprofit Nook on social media and sign up for our email list for extra tips and updates. You can also visit thenonprofitnook.com to see the show notes and leave a comment telling me what topics you want next. Your feedback shapes the show. See you next time.